Hey guys, so I'm going to be going over the beta and releases and acclaim of critical acclaim and blah 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 of Ocarina of Time. So the first glimpse people actually ever got of it was in Space World in 1995, where the N64 was actually shown off, and Link in the trailer actually looked a lot like the cartoon self. If you guys haven't seen that, I'd recommend probably just go looking at like a little bit of an episode. Or looking up like the Ocarina of Time betas if you've already watched the cartoon to see what he looks like in that. And according to one of the sources I used, Ocarina of Time was a heavily modified Mario engine at the time. A year later, in another trailer, which I'm presuming is shown at Space World 1996, because that's mainly the way people actually got to see trailers and stuff for games at the time. The Triforce was seen obtainable in this trailer, and characters were looking extremely basic at the time as well. And like buildings and everything were basic as well. There's a resident of Castletown, which people call Aria. She was actually like the person that probably guided Link as like an NPC kind of character. And until Navi came into the game and actually like the developers were like, we don't need Aria anymore, we'll just use Navi. And Ocarina of Time was intended to be all in like 100% first person mode, but this idea was actually scrapped really early because people were like, we want people to see what Link looks like, because every other Zelda game up to this point has actually been able to show Link from the third person perspective. And it actually showed like enemies bleeding at one point too, which is pretty kind of weird. But it does show if you have the special edition version of Ocarina of Time, you actually see Ganon puking blood. So there's that. Link could actually fight metallic-looking knights at one point, and this was in the first trailer too. We don't know if they were Knights of Hyrule or just Ganon soldiers, Knights of Hyrule that were actually possessed by Ganon. The main hub during the development stage was actually Ganon's Tower, much like Super Mario 64, where the hub was Peach's castle. Young Link hadn't actually been introduced until maybe some point in the middle of development. There wasn't any lava, and breaking pots kind of was direct. Like, let's just say you broke a pot, and you want to go back to break that pot again, you wouldn't be able to because it wasn't there. Link's shield design looked different, and so did his hair color, and he also, everything that wasn't his main tunic was just brown on him. It wasn't even funny. Rupees were always stuck at 0, 1, 2, 3, even though you couldn't get a 1,000 rupee wallet in the final product of the game. The sword was on A instead of B. I'm not gonna lie, it was on A. And then, Lon Lon Ranch was wide and open, and unlike the enclosed version of the final product. Link could use items in houses. He can use bombs in houses in the beta. The Great Deku Tree actually had a red nose to signify that he was kind of sick, or something was wrong with him. Link had the Big Ron sword early in the game in replacement for the Master Sword. Navi turns right over enemies, but you can't lock on to her, to the enemies. Some attacks were removed during development, maybe to save space, because of the N64 DD that they were developing too. And there was such thing as the Hall of Time. It was just simply a hall where they put the Master Sword until they actually had the Temple of Time developed in game. Time travel still wasn't a thing because they hadn't developed Young Link. The game, at most, before they actually made major edits to it, had 3 to 5 dungeons. Tops. Including Ganon's Castle, which was the hub. There were no other races besides Hylians, so essentially if you were looking for Zoras or something, you wouldn't find them in the beta. In early screenshots, opponent was just a brown horse with a black mane and tail, and black legs. Her body, as I said, her body was brown. 3 dungeons were scrapped during development, but they decided to keep Ganon's Castle, which was heavily modified. After they scrapped the dungeons, and they were like, well, we don't want to make it like too much like Super Mario 64 for people. And originally the Water Temple was named the Ice Temple, and you can tell by the medallions of the forest and water temples. Din's Fire was, and the medallions were actually like spells. So Din's Fire was actually the medallion of fire. Epona, at this point in development, started to look more like the final games version. There were pedestals to actually play the Ocarina of Time and the Ocarina on. Young Link finally came into the game. The Wind Temple was the Fire Temple, Flame Temple, Fire Temple, Ice Temple, and Water Temple. We unfortunately do not know the beta names of the Spirit and Shadow Temples, but what we do know, however, is that the Temple of Light was known as the Spark Temple. I'm not even joking. I have it on here. The Deku Tree was a tutorial dungeon or whatever, so people can get used to the game. The Unicorn Fountain in game actually led to the Temple of Light. There's no more Unicorn Fountain in the game. I'll get to that later. Most Young Link dungeons in the game actually were like tackled by Adult Link until Young Link was actually thought of. Young Link's development required that certain dungeons be split into. Like, for example, the Fire Temple was split into the Fire Temple and the Dognos Cavern. I'm not even kidding, this is what happened. There was still no Z-targeting. Z-targeting in this game was actually, helped other games in the future, too. That was released. Adult Link, he could hold a Kokiri sword, I'm not even joking, if you look it up. Unicorn, there was a different Great Fairy. The only way you can see this is through hacking, which I don't recommend. Don't hack your games, unless if you want to. There's, the Unicorn Fountain was kept until very late in development, much like the Great Fairy. You have to hack in order to see this, though. But you can look up footage online if you don't want to hack your game. Young Link, he can just walk into Hyrule Castle, walk right past the guards and be like, hey! No, seriously, that's actually what could happen. He could just walk right into Hyrule Castle. Havi was on the B button. The sword was still on the A button. But whatever. The Temple of Time had a green door protecting the Master Sword. So let's just say this is the temple. And my hand is the freaking green door. Like, you inside the temple, a green door. Now it's actually a stone wall in the final product. And the Triforce above the Temple of Time's entrance was upside down. Like, literally, it's usually like 1, 2, 3. But no, it was like, everything was flipped. The spiritual stones had no color. They were just all black and white, like, all gray or clear or whatever, I don't know. Couldn't tell. Slingshot had unlimited ammo at this point. The Temple of Light was actually intended to be an Adult Link dungeon where he could get the Triforce as an item. The only way you can get into the Temple of Light was through the Unicorn Fountain in Zora's domain. This idea and the fountain were scrapped in really late development, but you can get it through hacking, which I mentioned earlier. R-Wings, which were the, like Star Fox, they were the Star Fox flyers that you just drive around in, essentially. Those were used to actually practice Z-targeting, which actually they thought of at this point of development, I guess. The Dognos Cavern was actually a part of the Fire Temple in early development because of lack of Young Link, per se. And then Young Link just comes in and he's like, hey guys, what's up? And so they were split, and then they come back together again, like for some odd reason. Don't ask me why. This is what I saw in the video. And then they separated again. The developers just couldn't make up their minds, could they? Could not make up their freaking minds. Ocarina of Time actually did have some re-releases on iQue in 2003, GameCube in maybe 2002 or 2003, before Wind Waker was released, with Master Quest, the Wii Virtual Console in 2007, and then remade into 3D for the Nintendo 3DS in 2011, which also included Master Quest after you beat the game for the first time, and Wii U Virtual Console in 2015. And commercially, it actually was really strong, and like a lot of people actually rated it really positively. If you guys don't know, the really critical website Metacritic, it actually rated Ocarina of Time a 99 out of 100. And then the other website had like it really highly rated, according to them. And then Super Mario Sunshine came along and they just freaking were like, nope, Super Mario Sunshine's better. Super Mario Sunshine. But whatever. I mean, Ocarina of Time is actually a really good game. They have this drinking game too, from what I'm aware of. I've heard it, but like when they didn't, if you haven't heard, there's Ocarina of Time Chaos Edition. There's actually R-Wings that go around in it too. It's pretty cool. But that's all I know about the beta of Ocarina of Time and the re-releases and everything like that. So I'll catch you all in the next episode. And I left the links to the sources in the description. So if you want to check out the 2 videos in the Wikipedia article, then you can. So I can let them know. Just at least let them know I sent you. Well, not Wikipedia. Don't let them know I sent you. But let the person who actually put the beta together. Tell him that I sent you, because this actually took a lot less time thanks to him actually uploading those 2 videos. But I had to watch them like so many times just to at least get the the concepts right. But I only got like 2 things from Wikipedia. But just don't let Wikipedia know I sent you. Just let the other guy know I sent you, and maybe give him a like for the amount of effort he actually put into a freaking video, 2 videos like that. So I'll see you guys in the next episode.